And we are live, Target Score Vancouver podcast, live, an impromptu live on a Wednesday evening. It's Chris Wiggins on the sidelines in Vancouver, Joey Slattery, play-by-play with the Winnipeg Sea Bears. And why Joey Slattery is here, you may ask. Well, we called it a couple of weeks ago. It's down to one final game on Sunday afternoon in Vancouver at Langley Event Center between the Winnipeg Sea Bears and the Vancouver Bandits. That's going to decide first place in the West. I know Winnipeg's got a game on Friday night, but really, and we'll explain this a little deeper as we get into the program today, that game's kind of meaningless. It's not meaningless, but it's not really going to affect...
depends on who you ask.
Yeah, depends on who you ask. Yeah, it's not really going to affect the outcome of the top of the West. Thanks for being here. Follow along at Target Score Pod on Instagram. Like, subscribe, do all what you do on YouTube. Slats, my guy, thank you for doing this on a Wednesday night.
Oh, man, thanks for having me on. And yeah, you're liking what you're seeing. Give this thing a like, give it a subscribe, give it a follow. Turn those noties on because you never know when we're coming at you live.
That's what the kids are saying?
That's what the kids are saying, the noties.
Noties. Andrew Savory off tonight, but he'll be back on our next Target Score Vancouver podcast. I probably will go live after Sunday afternoon at LEC, so we'll see how that all plays out on Sunday afternoon. But regardless, you and I should probably do something live post game. What do you think?
Oh yeah, 100%. I have nowhere to be, so it'll work for me. For you, you'll be at the arena. So, and it's fun because you have another national game. So who knows when? That's the other thing too for everybody watching. For the Winnipeggers that'll probably be tuning into this, you know how it goes. There's usually a time post game, but it's tough because it's got some post game stuff to do. So just like that's why I say have your notifications on. And when the show starts, you'll get the notification, or when the link is set. We try to get the link set up a little bit earlier, and I'll be taking care of that from the back end while you're doing work there, Chris. But like if it says we're going to be live at whatever time, it might be a few minutes late. We're not having difficulties. Most likely it's probably because we're wrapping up our duties post game. And, with CBC having that game, sometimes the post game could extend, right? So you might have your walk-off interview, but if they have to go to the next hour, you'll be a little busy. So keep it locked in. That said, because it'll be like essentially a Winnipeg Vancouver crossover, we'll probably start early, even if Chris is a little bit long, and then he'll join in. But just have the notifications on. Best way to go about it.
I want to see if the LAC staff will let me do, the Joey Slattery post game live show style from the courtside desk.
Well, listen, if I could pull it off in Winnipeg, like I don't have the pull that Chris Wiggins has at Langley Event Center, like the king of Langley walking in. They're going to roll out the red carpet, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Vancouver Bandits, tough loss in Montreal. We haven't actually had a program. We haven't had an episode since Winnipeg, lost to Brampton as well. So we can kind of touch on both games. I
think we got to start with the Winnipeg Vancouver game.
Oh, yes. We haven't talked about that.
We have not talked. That is
either.
That might be the pinnacle of the season to me right now. Like at this point, like Sunday will be it. But right now, man, that flipped the script.
Yeah. So let's maybe start there then with the Vancouver Bandits coming into Canada Life Center 92-77 over the Winnipeg Sea Bears. You were there. You were on the call. Let's start with maybe your thoughts on I said this to Savory. I said we're going to be in big trouble. He was like, I'm predicting a win tonight. And he had a long checklist that came along with that prediction. He was like, if this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens. And it went like Santa Claus's list. It was I was like, man, they have to hit all those to win tonight. And I guess it happened, but I didn't see that coming, nor did I see that, lopsided of a score either.
Well, I'll say this. I honestly think that Winnipeg got exposed a little bit. There's two things to this. I mean, realistically, the Sea Bears, got Xavier Moon, and they had the storybook start they could have, like the best storybook start they could have asked for. Moon comes in, gets a double-double. Teddy sets the record not only for all-time scorer, but all-time leading scorer in a single season, but also the most points scored in a game at 54. We've never seen a player break 50, right? So the celebrations were going. And I think people jumped on the bandwagon too fast, as happens in this league, right? Losses feel worse than they are. Wins feel better than they are. We've talked about this before. It's kind of like the CFL schedule a little bit, that it's so compact in 24 games that every game kind of feels bigger than it is. But what happened in that game, and I give full credit to the Bandits because they were behind that entire game and they had chances to come close and take the lead and never did until the fourth when it mattered most. And what they did is they used their size to their advantage. Winnipeg needs to use their size to their advantage. They're smaller and they need that transition offense. They need their guards to get running and they need to find those shots. And one thing that Vancouver did progressively well throughout the game is they slowed down the transition to almost nothing for the Sea Bears as the game went on. And they did not let them get set up. Like Dom Parolin in that game, for me, he was my player of the game. I thought he played phenomenal in how he was able to guard. In the fourth quarter, he was guarding Xavier Moon, a former NBA guard, at half. And he is like almost a foot taller. Like what's Dom Parolin? Like 6'9" to Xavier's 6 and change. And he was visibly frustrating Xavier Moon in that game. And there was one that he took, one offensive charge on Simon Hildebrandt. And it was like textbooks. Hildebrandt got in position. He was squared up. He took it right in the chest. But you can tell Parolin was like, I am going through this guy, even if I'm taking the offensive charge. He went shoulder to chest. It was some of the hardest impact I've seen all season. And he took the charge, no reaction, and went the other way. And I thought to myself in that moment, like, yep, they got the possession back. And it was a great defensive play by Simon Hildebrandt. But message received. They bullied them a lot, especially down low. They were all over Tillman. You know, they made it hard for the guards to rebound. They were like, and God, they were punishing the rim. Everybody had massive dunks. Karnik played phenomenal. Parolin played phenomenal. Mulder had a highlight dunk. Like, and I'm missing a few, man. Like, it was a really, really perfect game from Vancouver in a sense. I know it wasn't like you asked, you know, Bram or your coach name's slipping here. Brempong, Coach Brempong, like he's probably like, that was not a perfect game. But what they did is they held by the ropes and let Winnipeg take their shots, tired them out, like, you know, figuratively speaking, and then delivered the knockout blow. They were down 14 and then they were up 9 at target score time. Like it was that quick of a turnaround and Winnipeg didn't have any answers. And it's a big win for Vancouver for me. And this is why I call it the pinnacle, because of all the adversity Vancouver went through. I thought the roster they put out that day reflected that. And they still came together as a team, understood their strengths, and, you know, put Winnipeg against the ropes and knocked them out and took a massive game in the standings. If they lose that game, I don't even know if, well, especially after what happened in Montreal, I don't think we're talking about this race anymore as it being a true race. I think it would be like Vancouver's desperately trying to do whatever they can to get, you know, Winnipeg to beat Winnipeg for first spot in the West. But that was a phenomenal game from Vancouver. Like, it wasn't the prettiest for sure, but there were a lot of pretty plays. And Shamar Givens, dude, so fast. They pulled Winnipeg's page too. Not only were they playing bigger, but they were getting out in transition, and Winnipeg struggled to slow them down. So I thought it was a phenomenal game for Vancouver, an important game for Winnipeg because it brought everything down and showed very clearly where some of the weaknesses are that they're going to have to address as a team because they have a smaller lineup. It was a good game for both teams, and it sets up for a great Sunday, but obviously the next games after weren't great. But what did you think?
Yeah, no. Now that you say that, I mean, I suppose it is kind of the deal breaker that could be for the rest of that, you know, for the rest of the season as we get closer to Sunday. I mean, yeah, if Winnipeg wins that game and then Vancouver goes on to lose in Montreal, then we're in a much different position. I remember jumping on the podcast with you post game, and what really stood out to me was the 7 points held. Vancouver held Winnipeg to 7 points in all of the fourth quarter, including target score time. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Slats, I believe they held Teddy Allen to just 7 points in the second half as well, or was it just
7?
7? Yeah, okay, 7 points. So to me, that's the game right there. You don't hold Teddy Allen to, you know, if even if he gets 12 in the second half, you know, it's a little bit of a different game. And then maybe those 5, 6, 7, 8 extra points from Teddy, you know, start some momentum in the fourth quarter. Maybe they score more. I mean, 7 points in the fourth quarter typically isn't going to win you many basketball games. So to me, that was the very telling statistic that stood out when I was looking at the box score. I also agree that Dom Parolin had a fantastic night, but for me, the big guy that won this game for the Vancouver Bandits was James Karnik. 17 points, 12 rebounds. I remember him hitting some big free throws. He was 5 for 6 from the foul line. But yeah, you're right. Good minutes from Michael Mulder. more minutes than he normally sees, and that big dunk kind of, you always like to see a boost of confidence for Michael Mulder. Jarkel Joyner, who to me has felt like he's, maybe dropped off a little bit from where he was at earlier in this CBL season. 24 points from him, so he was, kind of back to what he does best. But yeah, Shamar Givens, man, I don't really think anybody can stay in front of Shamar Givens. He's got to be the fastest guy in the CBL. But yeah, I mean, in my opinion, from my perspective, all bias aside, I was surprised to see the Vancouver Bandits roll into Winnipeg and get that W. But it's going to yeah, you're right. That W is going to be a big reason why, or is a big reason why Sunday is where we're at on Sunday. I mean, I talked about it off the top of the broadcast here. Friday night's game for Winnipeg is not going to do anything. It's not going to change anything in terms of the top of the West outcome. That is all determined on Sunday.
Yeah. And just to wrap that up, I want to say too, for the Vancouver game, like an important element of that, the last time Vancouver was in Winnipeg, that's when it looked like the wheels were falling off. So that like also adds to that win. That was the suspension with Julius, and then, everything that followed. And that's kind of where the roster turnaround started happening. So, kudos to Vancouver for coming in. And the reason why this game means a lot, and I'm going to just give your fans the quick skim over. I'm not going to get into it, but Winnipeg lost another tough one on that. They've lost 2 straight on national TV now at home. And this one was to Brampton, who was struggling all year and got their biggest win of the year. And yes, Mike Rainbow called out the referee by name, and there was some frustration with the calls. But at the end of the day, it's not blamed on the refs. It was a massive opportunity dropped, and they were playing a desperate team. I'll say this. Mike Rainbow said, and Mike Rainbow being the head coach of the Winnipeg Sea Bears has said, we're treating every game like it's a playoff game. And after the loss to Vancouver, he said, if this were a true playoff game, we wouldn't be at practice right now. We'd be cleaning out our lockers. And that's back to back like that now too. So we'll get to the Montreal loss, but this is why this Friday game against Ottawa, it's important to Winnipeg for sure. The inside that locker room, it's a very important game. But statistically speaking, we'll get into it. It's not that big because of that game in Montreal for you guys, where you go off this super high win and your morale super high and super, you're thinking this is the moment where we build the team. But going back to what I said earlier, can't be too high in a win, can't be too low in a loss, because that loss in Montreal was crushing.
Yeah, it's a tough place to play. You and I were talking about it after the game. Verdun Arena, or Verdun Auditorium is am I saying that correctly? Verdun Auditorium. Verdun Auditorium is a tough place to play. And, I early in that game, I thought Vancouver looked good. I thought, the majority of the first half, they were, when I say majority of the first half, maybe first quarter, and maybe half of the second quarter, they looked pretty solid. And then Montreal kind of went on a run later in the second quarter, and then went into halftime with a little bit of a lead. And so, that second quarter for Vancouver, the second half of that second quarter for Vancouver really stung. Only 14 points in the second quarter, 25 for Montreal. So they took a lead to half. I just thought late in that game, target score time after Jarrell Eddy ties the game with 2 big threes, you come down with a chance to tie, with a chance to, I guess with a chance to win it. It was 84-82, and with a chance to win it after Jarrell Eddy hits 2 big threes to tie the game. Tevin Brown forces up a horrific looking shot. It was really bad. Contested, falling away. He was 1 for 6 from the land beyond at the time. Only scored 5 points that night. In my opinion, from what I have seen in Vancouver and, in a couple of road games, there have been some really forced shots from Tevin Brown. That was definitely one of them. And I just think, look, if Jarrell Eddy is 5 for 9, he's coming off 2 big threes that, helped tie this game, and Shamar Givens is doing what Shamar Givens did all night, it's either the ball is either in Jarrell Eddy's hand or it's in Shamar Givens' hand. And I thought that was just a horrific decision from Tevin Brown. And,
Eddy was playing so good.
Yeah. feed the hot hand. I mean, if it's going to, and also there was 8 seconds left in the shot clock. So it felt extremely forced when you look at it from that perspective. But if you're going to huck something up, it's got to come from Jarrell Eddy after burying 2 threes in target score time to help tie this game. So,
or to your point, Givens, because he had the steal at half court and turned that into 2 points early in target score time. I totally agree with you. And this is the issue that we see sometimes with guys that haven't had a lot of experience in the league. These are dudes that, if you're not used to target score time, it's a mental hurdle, right? Like, and what I mean by that is you have, like, you want to be the hero. It's hard to turn that off, right? And when you know it's a winning shot, it's like playing in the playground. And most players don't play this way, even the Canadians, unless they played in the CBL for a few years. Like, it's a bit of a mental hurdle. And I think that's all it was. I think he got caught, just in that moment, like, I can win the game, and your instinct takes over, and, it cost them, because that was a game Vancouver should have won. And it is a massive gift to Montreal. We talked about how big the Vancouver game was with Winnipeg. Montreal might get in the playoffs now. They were last going into that game, right? And if you've seen the stats, they are slammed from top to bottom in the East. Like, we don't know who's going to be where, right? Or even who's going to be out of the playoffs right now. In fact, I think if Niagara loses tonight, someone's in, but if they win, no one's in. Like, it's weird. It's just, it's so weird with the East. And that was a massive win for Montreal at home. So, that makes everything so much more interesting now, because you guys have 1 game left in the season. So, that would have been a real stranglehold on the West. And knowing, and you can get into this, because you were talking about it to me on our chat. But there's some injuries, man. If they would have had that win, it would have taken a little bit of pressure off that Winnipeg game for sure, potentially all of it.
Yeah, and I believe James Karnik is hurt. I believe there's an injury to his heel. I don't know if it happened during the game in Winnipeg or if it happened at practice, but I'd be surprised if we saw James Karnik be ready on Sunday. So that's something to note as well. I know Dom Perlin is got some issue. I don't know if it's as bad as James, but I think both of those guys are banged up. So
it's tough.
It's very tough. So whether the two of them go and and they have limited minutes, or it's just Dom. But from what I'm hearing, James has an injury to his heel, and I don't think it's a great one. So that's gonna be a tough blow if he's not ready to go. I'm also hearing, and I put something out on Twitter about Mitch.
Okay, hold on. We got to preface this with this comment from the one and only Matt Bonomi, because he's looking for the answer here too. He wants to know if a certain guy is going to be here.
Need Wiggins to tell us the deal in the van Instagram post with the kid. Yeah, I saw that today too. When I saw it, I thought it was a mistake post. I believe it's a kid of one of our staff members. But then at the same time, she reshared it. So,
okay.
So I don't think it was a mistake, but I also don't really understand it.
I thought it was like some sort of, like, immediately I thought it was some sort of nod or tease to someone coming in here. Someone had messaged me. I don't remember who it was, but they were like, is this Mitch Creek's child, like, kid photo or AI Mitch Creek they're trying to do? Like, people thought it might be some sort of like foreshadowing that Mitch Creek might be back, and I don't know why, but even I thought, I'm like, what does that have to do with Mitch Creek?
Yeah, I don't really I like no caption. There's not really much. I don't really get it. Yeah, I don't know how it could be someone gave it Savory the Instagram login.
that's a comment for those listening from Matt Bonomi. Savory couldn't be here. That's why I'm here. So Savory catching strays.
I don't know. I really don't know. Like, the look on this kid's face is like, how we all kind of felt like for the majority of this season, to be honest. Like,
yeah,
he's kind of like, I don't really know how to. Yeah, it's really strange. I don't get it. But back to what I was saying about, I tweeted something before the Bandits game in Winnipeg where Mitch Creek was on the active roster, and I was told that he was going to likely play, and he wasn't in the building. So I don't know.
Wasn't even in the country.
He wasn't even in the country, and he's certainly not shy from sharing the fact that he is on a beach in Sydney or whatever part of Australia, even while he's on the active roster. like in Vancouver. So I don't really understand that. I've also, to double down here, I've also been told that he is going to be ready to go for Sunday. So like now, if he doesn't show up for Sunday, I've swung and missed twice.
Well, here's the thing. Like if before we get into whether he will or won't, to clarify for listeners, whether you're Vancouver, Winnipeg, or elsewhere, glad you're with us. Remember, like and subscribe if you can. He needs to play in that game.
Yeah, I agree.
Because the reason why he's been on the active roster is you have, even though the spot, he might not be there, I think you have to have a minimum of 10 players on the active, like on the game day roster. So if you travel, like you need to have 10 guys dressed. You can have, was it 14 or 50, whatever the number is of active players. I think it's 14 of active players, whether they're there or not, whether they're even in a jersey or not, they are part of the active roster, meaning they tie up the spot. So in this case, the team is saying we'd rather just have him in the active spot and not use it as opposed to have him lose a game, because you need to be on the active roster for 5 games. Beyond that, you have to play, even if it's 1 second, you have to play in 3 of those games. Right. So he's got the 5. He'll have the 5 under his belt. He's got 2 games played.
2. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because he did not come to that Winnipeg game. So that's the other funny thing. When we look back, to that first half of the season and how important that Winnipeg game was, had he been there, how much different is this situation from what we know it today? Do you know what I'm saying? Like Mitch Creek, knowing the leader that he is, would the things got out of hand off the floor? Would they have played as poorly on the floor? It's a lot of what ifs. And that was the middle game that, and props to him. He didn't, he was there to be with his family and he made do with what he had. But if he was there for that, he would already have those games under his belt. Yeah. And who knows what the situation's like. But if he doesn't play on Friday, or on Sunday, he does not play in the playoffs. So everybody's clearly watching this. I think Winnipeggers are just as excited and just as curious as to whether he'll be in the lineup.
Yeah. And I mean, again, all bias aside, I think Mitch is great for the team. I mean, obviously for the team, I think Mitch is great for the league. You and I were talking about it a couple of days ago. See, Bears fans, they want it too. They want that they want the best game possible. Yeah. They want the best talent there. Fans want that stuff. Media wants that stuff. So I hope he's there, and I hope for playoffs he's in Vancouver too. I just don't think they advance past Wednesday or past Thursday the 6th, which is the Western Conference semifinal. I don't think they advance past that game without Mitch Creek. At Langley Event Center or not, I don't think it's the year.
Okay. 2 things before I get to that part. I actually think Winnipeggers would much rather see Mitch Creek if Winnipeg played them in the second round in Winnipeg. I think they would not want him in the lineup in Vancouver just because you want to see the best players. Like Mitch Creek has a fan base and an appreciation, if not across the league, definitely in the West. And like you said, from the marketing standpoint, Teddy Allen, Mitch Creek, Xavier Moon, Shamar Givens, pump out the stars. Both of these teams have stars. Mitch Creek and Teddy Allen and Xavier Moon. I know Shamar Givens isn't there, in terms of the MVPs, right? If he's in that game in the playoffs, or even on Sunday, but particularly in the playoffs, you've got 3, 4, 5 of the 7 MVPs in one game.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. So of course I want to see it. I want to see them go head to head. I want to see the stars go at it. I want to see Mitch Creek go at, Teddy Allen or Jeremiah Tillman Jr. or Teddy going at Mitch.
Of course.
It would be great for the league for sure. I'm a big fan of watching Mitch Creek play. He's one of my favorite players to watch. He's so fundamentally sound. Yeah. He's clearly a culture driver. He as much as we give Kyle Julius credit, you have to give a lot of credit to Mitch Creek, because he took what Kyle Julius was trying to build and put it into practice. The coach can't be on the floor. And when Mitch Creek arrived in Vancouver, that was truly when the page turned on that, disastrous 2023 season where Vancouver was hosting Champ Weekend. So, you want to see him in the game. I still think, though, that they can win without him.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, look, they've won some big games without him. I think that might be just the pessimist in me as well.
I'd be more worried about the playoffs. On Sunday,
they can win without him, you think?
Now let's see. Like, if I think it's tougher without Parolin. I think it's tougher without Karnik.
Yeah.
And even those guys, like, they stepped up. So here's another thing, like another layer to my optimism for Vancouver, is those guys stepped up when they weren't expected to. Like, that wasn't Dom Parolin. I know, like you've said, like, he has gotten better as the season went on, but like, to me, that was like a breakout game for him on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
And same with Karnik. Like, he's a big dude. He's been in the league for a while, but like, he was an impact. Like, he was just like, I'm going to lay it out on the line this game. Like, this is going to be my game.
Yeah.
Can someone else do that if they're not in the lineup, right? You've got some new guys in the mix. They've had that taste of, okay, I know what happens when we don't stick to the game plan and target score time. Could Rans Brempong get them back on board for this Sunday game and into the playoffs? Like, let's be real. I'm just going to put it out here. As much as Sunday matters for home court advantage, it doesn't matter. After Sunday, it's the playoffs. So whatever happened, whatever momentum you built, like, it's all out the window. And I will say this, because before the game, well, let's just ask the question: who do you think has more pressure on them?
Well, you and I have had many conversations about this, and I talked to Mo Khan prior to the Montreal Vancouver game.
Shout out Mo Khan.
Days ago. Shout out Mo Khan. Mo asked the same question. He said after Sunday, who's at the top of the West? And I said Vancouver, and I said that because if Mitch Creek is back, it not only helps Vancouver, but I also think all the pressure is on Winnipeg, and here's why. They haven't won a game in the playoffs. They have this new, Teddy scores 54 this year, breaks a record. He's going to be the MVP. I will riot if he's not. Then Xavier Moon comes in. He play, and so, like, there's that storyline with him and Teddy. I just think, like, without Winnipeg having any victories in the playoffs yet, I think all the pressure's on Winnipeg, especially if they're I shouldn't say especially if they're on the road, especially if they're at home.
Okay, so here's where I am going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here. I'm just going to fix my sorry. I'm freezing here. We're good. We're going to be back. Let's just wait for it. For those listening, we're live. This happens sometimes. Here's what I'm going to say. I think most of the pressure
is on Vancouver.
And here's why I think it's on Vancouver. Because Vancouver has been at the knocking on the door. They should have been, many would think, and very well could have been, back-to-back finalists.
Yeah.
Right? They lost to Niagara.
Yeah.
And you almost had this, what could have been a storybook, revisit of that 2024 final, because Niagara repeated. So, and they got, they lost in the most dramatic and frustrating of fashions at home. With everything that happened with Kyle Julius, knowing that he's gone to China, and Mitch Creek, like, regardless of whether or not he comes back, Mitch Creek is still at his peak, but like on the other side, right? He's going to start thinking about his body. He might have played himself out of this league. And with Kyle Julius there, like, who knows? Like, does he come back? I'm not going to speculate that. That's off-season stuff. But it feels like this is of this core, not saying they could come back next year and not be a contender, but like, this is the closing of the window for this team, right? Of the guys that you have, some guys have already gone. But I think this is their window. And I think there's that sense of desperation of, the years we were supposed to win it. And Kyle Julius talked to me about this when he was in Winnipeg. How many years have you guys won almost went undefeated? You still have the record for most wins in a season, right? Scarborough's going after it on their game. But you won all the games and then you lost when it counted by a team that, shouldn't have beat you based on the standings. And they did. And they came out and they played hard. As much as Calgary got that favorable call at target score time, they were in the game for a reason. It was a great game. Like, we forget about how good that Western Conference final or semifinal was last year. So I will go as far as saying that there's pressure on Vancouver, especially if they have home court, because Winnipeg has just proven a few things. they've never won a playoff game on home court. They had 2 and 3 technically because championship weekend. Further to that, they've lost their last 2 at home. So now I don't think that home court, they have 3 losses on home court. I don't think it's as glowing as it was.
Yeah. And
I think the blessing for Winnipeg is we don't care where we play. We just we just got to win the game, whether it's at home or in Vancouver. And, in another conversation with Mike Rainbow, we said, if you're worried about the venue you're playing in, that probably sets you up for, disappointment one way or the other. Yeah. You got to be ready to play. So I don't think there's as much pressure on them playing at home anymore. And honestly, I don't know if they want to play Edmonton at home. Even though they swept the season series, there's a lot. If anything, they will be motivated, or at least the fans will continue to remind them. Edmonton has broken hearts so many times at Canada Life Center, including the playoffs, that I think they would almost rather, fans, speaking from the fans, I don't think the players care. I almost think fans would rather the Mamba. And I'm curious, based on your thing. So let's just say,
is Edmonton to Winnipeg, Calgary to Vancouver?
It was for a long time.
Are they the thorn in the side of the Winnipeg Sea Bears?
Here's the thing.
Get in the comments for those who are still watching this evening. Get in the comments. Who has more pressure on Sunday?
Is it
Vancouver with more pressure?
I can do
or
this.
Is it Winnipeg with more pressure?
Hold on. Keep talking for a second.
Okay, I'll keep talking for a second. Are you putting up a graphic or something fancy for us? Are you doing a poll for us? Can you do that on this program?
Yeah, I think I did it once before.
Okay, cool. All right, so who has more pressure on Sunday? Is it the Winnipeg Sea Bears on the road at LEC, or is it the Vancouver Bandits, who have historically been very good at LEC?
Here's hoping that
how
people
good is
see
that?
It and vote. Get
Pressure
it
belongs in tires. Alec Manoah and Mitch Creek, probably. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, pressure is a privilege, baby. There's Matt Bonomi again.
Coach Bonomi.
I forgot about that quote. That's a great poll.
So this one, I want to bring this one here from EXO here. That 2023 inaugural season playoff game lost to Edmonton was heartbreaking to watch in person. See, this is what I'm saying. EXO 204, love you, man. I love that you're here on the Vancouver pod.
Hey, you know what, man? You may have changed my mind, Joey, with this no pressure, with this no pressure for Winnipeg. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're onto something. See, there you go. We have a vote already for. See, 2 votes for Vancouver.
Yeah, we'll let that simmer. But I honestly think
more pressure on Vancouver. Come on,
I don't think the pressure's there anymore. I'll say this. I'm not trying to be an optimist. You might be
right. You guys are changing my mind.
I'm not trying to be an optimist, but I think the last 2 losses at home maybe a silver lining for Winnipeg in the sense that, hey, just because you have Xavier Moon and, 4 of the 7 MVPs ever awarded on one team and you had a great start, you still have to show up. I remember Trey Scott said that when they lost in, I can't remember what loss it was. It was a road loss, but he said, as much as I hate losing, we need to lose this game. We needed to, as a reminder that we have to prep and not expect to win just because we're the Sea Bears, right? And it's the same for Vancouver when they had everybody. We don't just win because we're Vancouver. We have to show why we're the best, right? We have to play at that best. And I think Winnipeg has struggled with that at times. And you look at the last game against Brampton, both Teddy and Xavier were flirting with 30 points. And everybody else was in single digits. So, everybody's got to contribute, even though you've got 2 stars. Teddy's not going to give you 50 a game. It's happened once in league history, right? Yeah. He might have one down the road or he might give you one, but you can't bank on it, right? You can bank on him giving you 20. And I think if he gives you less than 20, that's, a disappointment in terms of how you built this team. Xavier, probably has to get into double digits in assists, needs to score double digits as well. Xavier Moon, that is. Here I'm calling by first name. But those guys, I think...
First name basis.
Yeah, well, then you're that in the league. Sometimes when you're big enough in a league, all you need is one name. But honestly, I still think Van is going to win it all.
That comment's rage bait.
I didn't mean
that comment is that comment is just outrageous.
Yeah, I
there's
think,
just no way.
Yeah,
I'm all for it. I think that's a crazy comment. I think that's a nuts prediction,
dude. I don't think that it is. I honestly think
really.
No, I here's the thing, dude. It's the CEBL.
Yeah,
All
I
you got to do is
know,
click at
I
the right
know, I
time. And if
know,
you have Mitch
I
Creek,
know.
I think that's the other thing.
Yeah.
We're talking about this hypothetically without really knowing the status of Mitch Creek. And we will not know until either we see him in a practice or the day of the game. Like, who knows?
Quick check on his Instagram. No updates.
No, so yeah, right. Like in here, it's all speculation, so it's tough. But I don't think, like, again, Winnipeg has had a way of losing games they should have won. That inaugural season, they should have beat Edmonton, and they lost to Edmonton. So when you were going back to this, the main question, sorry, we got off track with the comments. But when you said, is Edmonton to Winnipeg what Calgary is to Vancouver? In short, kinda, because it's been very lopsided. It was Edmonton owned Winnipeg for a long time in Winnipeg, and then the last couple of years, Winnipeg's flipped the script, and I think they're 500, like all-time record or one game difference. So it's not like the back and forth that you saw with Vancouver and Calgary, but it has that, like, before there was the Western semifinal last year, there was the play-in game for Winnipeg in 2023, which was a very similar kind of feeling of, expectations were high. Everyone was optimistic. The energy was there, and it was just sucked out of the building. And even, like, I don't remember if it was that year or the year after, but Isaiah Osborne, who now plays for Winnipeg, had the target score winner in one of those games to end the season. So, like, nothing is taken for granted here, but I honestly think there's a chance, like, my hot prediction, I'm not actually like predicting it, but if I wouldn't be shocked if you saw a shorthanded Vancouver beat Saskatoon, if that were the matchup. And if Edmonton plays Winnipeg, what if Edmonton beat Winnipeg and Saskatoon beat Vancouver?
Yeah, then what? Yeah, exactly.
But it can happen.
Yeah, no, I know. You're
like,
not wrong.
All of these teams have beaten the other team.
Yes,
like,
you're not wrong.
With the exception of Edmonton. Edmonton didn't beat them this year, but even if it's the other way around, like Saskatoon has beaten Winnipeg.
Edmonton beat Vancouver this year.
Right. So if Edmonton if it is Edmonton playing Vancouver and Saskatoon playing Winnipeg, like, dude, I would not count your chickens before they hatch. Last time I used that term, I think I said before they get there. So
I'm just gonna pop up this comment just to clarify. I know we talked about this earlier. No, you need to be on the floor for 3 games. You need to be active for 5. He's been active for 5. He just hasn't been on the floor for 3.
Yeah. So essentially, if he plays that Sunday, he's good. If he doesn't, it doesn't matter because he didn't play in 3 games. So going back to that conversation, which we touched on for those that are just joining, it kind of comes down to that last game Vancouver played in Winnipeg, because last time Vancouver played in Winnipeg, Mitch Creek, that was the game in the middle of games that he didn't play. Because had he played that game, he would have got the 3 out of the way. Yeah. And we're not going to get into that. But like the hypotheticals, the what ifs,
you mentioned this earlier this week to me, and I think there's some heavy validity to it because like that game in Winnipeg, and when I say that game, I mean the game. That was the suspension. There was the altercation with the fan. It was just not great. All things considered, and that easily could have derailed Vancouver. That easily could have, Kyle Julius goes out for a couple games, then he leaves the season early for China. Mitch Creek leaves for Australia shortly after. Like that easily could have derailed Vancouver. And I'll give them credit because they've rallied around Coach Rans Brempong. They've tried to do as best as they could to stick with, what Kyle Julius's system is. The culture is still there. But they easily could have folded the tent after that weird night in Winnipeg, and they didn't. And now they're battling it out on Sunday for first place. As that ticker goes at the top of the screen, I wanted to read some of the scenarios or the one scenario explanation that I got from the league. Aaron Gogashvili, Senior Director of Basketball Administration.
AKA Gogo.
And because I tweeted something out after the Montreal game, because I was like, horrible possession there to end the game, a great chance to shut the door on Winnipeg. And what I mean by shut the door, I meant that in an optimistically speaking. I didn't actually mean that was going to clinch the first place position for Vancouver. But why I said that was Vancouver then, like right now, Vancouver has a win up on Winnipeg. They're one win ahead of Winnipeg in the win column. And then with Winnipeg playing 2 games and Vancouver having a home game, optimistically speaking, I was like, man, that all but really shuts the door on Winnipeg because they have to win the game on Friday if Vancouver wins in Montreal. They don't win in Montreal, and I get this email. It says, regardless of the result of Winnipeg's game against Ottawa on Friday, Sunday's matchup between Vancouver and Winnipeg determine the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. We know that. If Winnipeg defeats Ottawa, the winner of Sunday's game will finish with the best record in the conference outright. If Winnipeg loses to Ottawa, a Winnipeg victory on Sunday would leave both teams tied at 14-10. The season series would also be tied at 2 games apiece. But Winnipeg currently holds a plus 12 point differential through 3 meetings so far this season. And as a result, the winner of Sunday's game would also secure the head-to-head tiebreaker and with it, first place in the Western Conference. So, that math meme or like Charlie Day on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when he's got all the papers and the strings and like the Sharpie marks and he's just like so confused at his cork board or whatever. That's what the CB every summer we do this. It's like, okay, math here, this team wins here, they lose point differerential, plus minus, like it's crazy. So bottom line is Sunday is what's going to determine unless Winnipeg loses to Ottawa, then there's a Winnipeg victory and never mind.
No, it's no matter how.
I was just trying to think of like that 12 point that plus 12 point differential can't change because it's the point differential between Winnipeg and Vancouver. So it really is
no matter how you
slice it. And it's top of the West on national TV and you can't ask for much more.
Yeah, if Winnipeg won that game against Vancouver here, it's a totally different story. But because Vancouver lost in Montreal and then Winnipeg lost to Vancouver as well as Brampton, again, that might be a huge gift as well to Vancouver from Brampton.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because either they're going to win it outright because they won. Like if they win in Ottawa, they'll just have a better record. And if they lose to Ottawa and beat Vancouver, the point differential and the head-to-head differential would still favor Winnipeg. So it really does come down to that game because either it's just as simple as they won or as not so simple, the even record. But
I wonder what attendance is like. I wonder what attendance is going to be like. Like that place can be loud
at LEC, dude.
Oh man, yeah.
I'm going to forecast close to a sellout.
Yeah,
it's like a free playoff game.
Yeah, I'll stay close to 5. 5. Yeah,
because it's a preview. It is the most realistic preview of your conference final.
Yes,
whether we get that conference final, we don't know. But realistically, I think anybody here would say, except for this person, what's up? Go Mamba! I love it.
Let's go.
Got Mamba fans in here. I love it.
Never know, man. Never know. The only thing too is like Sunday at 12:30 local time is not ideal for a Sunday in the summertime. Like midday Sunday, not the best. Like
it's gonna be hot out there. Free air conditioning.
Yeah, you're right. Free air conditioning. And the other thing weird about BC is like that. That actually could mean something. Free air conditioning because the majority of places in BC don't have air conditioning.
Wild to me. Everybody in Canada should have air conditioning.
I agree here with Mr. Bonomi as well. In a dream world, all playoff meetings are the best of 3. I agree.
That's coming from this one too. Because regardless of the new format, the single, it is crucial to lock in. You're totally right. And then that's where Matt responded to that.
No,
so
I agree. Well, I mean, breaking Mamba up 2-0 in the first 45 seconds. Jeez, man, Matt Bonomi is on top of it. Love it.
This is awesome. Oh, this is D. That's why Bonomi's a bum.
That's
got the Brampton boys going after.
That's D.
Yeah,
we should have known with the logo in the profile picture.
Oh,
but God. Man, yeah, like look, we said it. I said it a number of times. You and I both talked about it. The Target Score, podcast network group chat has been talking about it. Like it was going to come down to that last game on Sunday on national television, and here we are. I mean, and how great is that for Canadian basketball? How great is that for the CBL? Really?
Yeah, totally. Like, here's the thing. The Sunday, both teams are going to be locked in. I think it's going to be a good game. If I had to predict, I think it's going to be 2 possessions or less difference. And I don't know who's going to win. And if it's more than that, I don't think either team is going to be as disappointed as we think they are that they didn't get home advantage. The owners will, because that's a lot of good cash if you can move on and fill up an arena during the playoffs. But at the end of the day, it'll be a little bit of a stinger. But what we do know is I think it's mathematically impossible. I think Mama have a slight chance, but it looks like they're both getting home games, right? They both clinched their playoff spots. They're
Vancouver and Winnipeg. Yeah, they're both
going to get their home games in the first round. So it's not like they're going to miss out altogether.
No.
But it's that second game. But again, it is irrelevant if you don't win that quarterfinal or the conference semifinal. So part of me sitting here like you want to have home advantage, but like if you get home advantage, which they pretty much have locked up, if they don't have it locked up already in that first round, then and you lose that game, it doesn't matter anyway. Right. Like as far as we know, Saskatoon could still host a playoff game like that. That is not outside. The only team I think right now that can't, or I'd have to check the standings, but I'm pretty sure Edmonton cannot or is pretty close to can't. Like it looks like it's going to be either Winnipeg or Vancouver and then the Mamba.
No, they can't. I don't think they can at all. I don't think Sask or Edmonton can host a game.
Yes, they can in the second round. If both teams get knocked out.
That's no. I just mean it like I meant in the semifinals.
That's what I'm saying. But both Vancouver and Winnipeg are going to get home advantage in the first round.
Yes.
And this fight is really for the second game, which really means nothing if you don't win that conference semifinal game.
Right.
So speaking from a Winnipeg's perspective, like we've seen Winnipeg lose that game, regardless of whether they were hosting or not the next game. So it did not matter. So I think like in Vancouver, you and the fans of Vancouver are used to Vancouver winning in the playoffs and being upset in like deeper in the playoffs.
Yes.
Winnipeg is just like, and that's the thing, like, and Winnipeggers are getting excited too.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. They're getting excited for, and they're Winnipeggers here. Like this might be the year, but I keep saying, and I've said this repeatedly throughout all of the live shows, the recorded podcasts, I am not ready to crown anybody until they get to the finals before I make that prediction. I don't care if it's Scarborough. I don't care if it's Vancouver or Winnipeg or Brampton, or Ottawa. Like they have to win the playoff games. And Winnipeg has learned that lesson year over year, but they have to win that game and they've yet to do it. So if they can win that game in the first game, then wherever you play the next game, it doesn't matter. You've never been that far in the playoffs. It's a new experience for the franchise. So, just focus on getting through that first game, whether it's Saskatoon or Edmonton, if you're Winnipeg, and same thing for Vancouver, because Vancouver is not firing with all the firing power they had even a year ago in this game.
So lots still up in the air for the Eastern Conference as well here, as we see Niagara and Saskatoon tonight, right? What are you laughing at?
Because D just put out lies. Joey crowned Ottawa 3 weeks ago. Like, yes, I have teams that I think are going to do really well, but I'm not going to say they're going to win the championship, though. Ottawa might win the championship. So, Eastern championship.
Like, tonight's going to be a big night for Niagara. Then Montreal plays Brampton. That's going to be another big night tomorrow. And then Ottawa is at Canada Life Center on Friday. So the East still is correct me if I'm wrong, the East still seems like it's very much up for grabs other than first place.
100%. Just brought this
if
comment
Scarborough
up.
Gets bounced in the first round.
Dude, I've been saying this too.
Jeez, man.
I think the team most primed for an upset this year or this playoffs are Scarborough. Wow. If it does happen, I think they're a championship caliber team. Yeah. But they're a team that plays very heavy on their emotion, but it goes both ways. That's why I think Terrell Vernon is the weirdly oddest fit, perfect coach I've ever seen in the CBL. He's so calm and articulate in his interviews. And even when things are hitting the fan, he's just kind of guys, come here. Come on. Quit with the nonsense. And they're just going at each other, they are so riled up all the time, win or lose. So you got to hone that.
That's because Drake is in OVO Nico's ear telling OVO Nico to tell Tyrell what play to call. That's why Tyrell is so relaxed, because it's coming from OVO Nico.
Yeah, well, let's not shortchange Terrell Vernon. He's a great coach.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
But I think that Scarborough's the team. I think there's a lack of experience CBL wise. And there's Ottawa, Montreal, and Niagara they're the defending champs still, and they're putting it together right now. They've beaten Scarborough. Ottawa's beaten Scarborough. They are going to go up against teams that have beat them before, and some in their house. So it's not like these teams are coming in the odds are against us. Let's give it our best shot. All those teams believe they can beat Scarborough, and Scarborough believes they can beat them too. But I think that out of all of the teams in the West, I don't think, if Winnipeg gets bounced or Vancouver gets bounced, it would be an upset, but not to the level of Scarborough, because they've been playing up here all game or all season. So I think that like Scarborough, they can't take anybody for granted, man. And
I agree. Bonomi said it earlier too in the comments a little earlier into the show. Scarborough is a little maybe too good to be true this season right now. I mean, I don't
wish upon a shooting star, buddy.
Like, yeah, I mean, it just, again, the bottom line is anything can happen in the CEBL. But it looks like our poll, as we go back to who has more pressure on, D's got all D's got all the ends gear. He's got all the OBO owl gear. We go back to our poll. Who has more pressure on them on Sunday, Winnipeg or Vancouver? And Vancouver in the lead right now, 67% to 32%.
Yeah, I'll leave this up for a couple more minutes for those that want to vote. If you go in the comments, hit 1 for Winnipeg, 2 for Vancouver. Question is, who has more pressure on them on Sunday? Chris thinks it's Winnipeg. I think it's Vancouver. And I also said that I don't think it really matters as much as it matters to us because we get to talk about it.
No,
but
yeah,
I think
exactly. And you and some of our viewers have made some good comments. Look, I haven't been in Winnipeg. I haven't been through 2 or 3 seasons there, and neither, and nor you in Vancouver. So we feel different things. And I mean, I remember when we went right before we went live tonight, and you were like, let's do an impromptu live, and I won't really worry about the comments. Like, it's been a pretty busy show, if you ask me.
Yeah, hey, thanks for tuning in. This is the importance of notifications. I don't know what the total tally's at, and I've seen a few on Instagram. We did not promote this. This was like a last minute kind of like, let's just go live. We were going to record, and in the last moment, we were like, let's go live. It's so much more fun doing these live shows, getting the interaction with everybody.
It's easier on you. No editing for our guy Slats.
Yeah, very little. There are some things that I have to tune up on the audio side, but
these Target Score Brampton guys are all over us tonight. Meanwhile, you're editing their show.
Oh yeah, editing their show. The only team to not go live.
Those guys haven't gone live yet.
They have not gone live. Jeez. They may go live on their post game, which is Saturday. Is it Saturday? They'll tell us. J. Cole about to check in for the Mamba. Sorry, JC. From Matt Bonomi. Saturday.
Tune in, man.
Okay, that's coming in from D. So all of our viewers and listeners here, if tune into our boys in Brampton, that they're in their own thick of a playoff race in the East right now. And they've been doing a great job out there. This is the nicest stuff I'm going to say about them in this podcast, but they've done a wonderful job at, covering the team this year, getting to know the players and getting the fans connected. It was great to have Brampton alongside as well as Vancouver. Vancouver's new too. But no, they've been doing great stuff and I enjoy tuning in every week. They're two total bozos. They have a chemistry that is phenomenal. And I don't know, I wouldn't want to be seen out with them in public too much, but I enjoy tuning in on a podcast. I had to hang out with D one time in Edmonton, and like he legit forced me to take pictures of him like a paparazzi. Like, the guy's such a diva. He's like, hey, when I get out of the elevator, can you just take a bunch of pictures of me so it looks like everybody's here waiting for me and stalking me? And I'm like, sure, D, I'll do it for you. Stroke the ego, right? I mean, his ego's up here and D's somewhere down there.
No short jokes.
Can't measure ego.
No short jokes. Edmonton could still end up in third. Sask and Edmonton have a very important matchup on Friday night. I agree. And the end of the season is going to be wild this year. Yes, I do agree that the end of the CBL season, East and West, is going to be crazy. Don't worry, D. Don't worry, D. I'm a diva just like you, my man. Don't worry. How's my hair tonight?
Believe the phrase is dumb and dumber. Thanks, founding father. That's what FF stands for. Bonomi calls me founding father.
Founding father. You are.
Even though I think we've been in the league the exact same amount of time, but
no, founding father target score is what he's.
I know. Yes, but okay. Regardless.
Should we wrap this thing or what?
Yeah, hold on. Let me close the. Okay, for those that are just listening, you've got 10 seconds to get your final cast in before I close the vote on the poll. The question is, who has more pressure on them come Sunday? Winnipeg playing Vancouver on the road or Vancouver playing Winnipeg at home? The winner will be the first in the West, meaning they get home court advantage right through the playoffs. And depending on how it ends up they'll at least have one game in the finals at the very least.
We should
Here, hold on.
No. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to do
We
this.
should do a poll. Is Mitch Creek going to play on Sunday? Yes or no?
Okay, hold on. Don't ruin my sound effects.
Drum roll, please. What do we got?
Stop poll.
There
Vancouver.
it is.
Vancouver's got more. 67% say Vancouver has more pressure than Winnipeg does on the road.
Yeah, I guess you got to win at home, right? You got to win at home.
Yeah, totally. Yep. Yeah. I think I think we're talking about the pressure. I don't think they're thinking about it as much as we are, but nonetheless, it's I do think there's the more pressure on Winnipeg is on when do the playoffs start? Thursday next week?
Yeah.
So that's the pressure game for Winnipeg.
TSN, by the way.
You are.
Vancouver's I just mean like all of a sudden TSN gets some games this year.
Yeah, which is cool. It's
I
awesome.
Agree.
It's on too. So you're on the call on the conference semifinal. I keep on saying quarterfinal. Conference semifinal. So that is your TSN debut. You've been on CBC a bunch of times, but it's your TSN debut. Congrats, dude.
That's
awesome.
How
stoked are you for this?
No, I'm very excited. Very excited. Very grateful for it. Lucky that there's a home game in Vancouver. Because if it wasn't in Vancouver, I mean, would it be happening? Don't know. Very grateful. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be good. And it's gonna be really cool to have Joe Razzo and Mitch. Come on, don't tell me. I should know my broadcast.
Yeah, because you could only say Creek, right?
I know. I got Mitch Creek all over my.
Got Mitch Creek on the brain.
God, man. Mitch and Joe Razzo. So Mitch Peacock, thank you, and Joe Razzo,
the legends. Legends. I've worked with Mitch on last year's playoffs. He's a treat. Like he is the best.
I look forward to
guy.
it. I look forward to it.
Total unflappable pro. So good under pressure. Calls such a smooth game. One of my favorite announcers in this league. And then you've got Joe Razzo, as Matt Bonomi calls him, who is one of the greatest color analysts we have in our game, in our league. And I've never got to work with Joe. I worked with him through the in the ear, for the first national game, he was the color analyst, but I've never actually got to work with Joe in person. So I'm like, Razzo,
I'm stoked about it.
Yeah. So I'm super happy for you, man. That's going to be awesome. You couldn't be with a better team, and you are a star on that team as well.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
All right.
Means a lot, man.
We almost went an hour. This is crazy. Hold on though. You got to hit the post because I got my stuff lined up.
Okay. All right. How many seconds do I have?
I think it's 15.
15. Okay. All right.
So
should I start talking now then?
Yeah, whatever. Sorry, guys, if we're a little early on the music. You just have to watch us for a second while we end the broadcast.
Yeah, no worries. All right. Well, that'll wrap up another edition of Target Score Vancouver. Impromptu live. Help me, Joey, on Friday.
Yeah, we'll see you there. Oh, no, bye.